Fight fans and more fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. This is the day after. To some of you guys, this is later in the day. For everyone across the other side of the pond, I understand the time difference, so let's not let this not be begun. Wilder is washed. He knocking out sparring partners. North London. Luke Mora. Dillian White is washed up. He wouldn't last 60 seconds. Your mom's Usyk was calling out Wilder before this fight, and now after the fight, he goes missing. He did the same with Fury, called out Fury, and when Fury came back with the offer, Usyk was injured. Wilder fangirls forget Usyk fight, Wilder fangirls forget Usyk fight Dillian White. Usyk having second thoughts about calling Wilder's name. Luca Mora says. Double D says, how is he ducking Wilder? He wants the belt that Fury has. Brian Watterson, of course he ain't. Fury still hasn't organized a fight with Usyk or Chisora or whatever. He's fighting in December. Look, got line ace the OG. I was wondering if you got hacked. No, why would I get hacked? Why would you think I got hacked? Mar, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Can't blame anyone for ducking Wilder. You gotta be smoking rocks. No, it's just a question. It's just a question. To bring everybody here, to get everybody near. Bars. That's how it's done. That is exactly how it's done, son. You know? But it's a legitimate question. What do you think? I think that a lot of these guys look at Usyk, you haven't heard much, and you haven't heard much of anybody from anyone, anywhere, to be fair. You haven't heard anything from anybody. Wilder is too much hype, North London says. Enoch Power, only Fury beats Wilder. Usyk will see too much as a risk. He said Wilder's dangerous. Well, he said Wilder was dangerous before he knocked out Helenius, But we're going to give all types of breakdown. Usyk is a dosser. Wilder is B-level, says North London. Wilder isn't a Usyk eyesight at the moment. 2 losses and a win against a bin man. Who is Wilder? Wilder is one of the top heavyweights. He's one of the top heavyweights. I do remember when Wilder was defeated and he just kind of went dark. You guys got to admit you missed Wilder talking shit or shite, right? He was talking a lot of shit until he got beat up. Then you didn't hear from him. He took his time. And then, then Fury and Joshua, that buzz came. And then all of a sudden, Wilder came out with something. What did he say? It was some shit like, no, that was later on. Then he came out twerking. You remember that? He did his twerk video. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with Wilder? So, you know what I mean? It was a lot of stuff that he was doing. Joe Joyce beats them all. I just did a video about Joe Joyce because, you guys know Frank Sanchez called him out. Black referee is Wilder Fury 4. I don't see how that's relevant. A straw atmosphere. Usyk versus Ruiz now. What could Ruiz benefit fighting Usyk? And you guys know Ruiz is on my shit list, of course. So, but just asking an honest question, what could he? Besides stay busy, he could beat the guy that also beat Anthony Joshua. They have a familiarity with, wins against the same guy. But I don't see how he would benefit. Bass Oman. What's good, Mr. Counterpunch Boxing? I'm a new subscriber to the channel, and I like your simple and straightforward yet informative style. Baz Oman, appreciate you, brother. Joe Joyce KOs them all. When Wilder loses, the Wilder fans start crying about excuses. I think that's any fans, to be fair. I think that's any fan of any fighter. You know, I remember though, Mike. Though I don't think I had an excuse. Maybe I did. You know, that was a long time ago when Lennox Lewis knocked him out. Only Wilder can put a dent in Fury. White couldn't even tickle Fury. AJ versus Wilder. Austral atmosphere. Um, Starvos Spaghettis. Usyk said in the record he wanted to fight Fury, AJ, and Wilder in 1 year. He said Fury would be his hardest fight. Wilder would be his easiest. Wow. Okay. Appreciate you for throwing that cinco in there, Starvos. Appreciate you. Wilder fans make it worse for him. He listens to those demented fanboys and gets him in trouble. Well, he's a grown man. I don't think anybody could get him in trouble anymore. Wilder's next fight should be either Usyk or Fury. No, it should be neither, ex-con. It should be Anthony Joshua. You have to remember something. These guys have did the same shit in their career for a while. It's just Joshua does it first. If you guys ever noticed, think about it. In 2019, Joshua was defeated first by Andy Ruiz, right? Then he comes back and he wins. Then Deontay Wilder loses right after Joshua loses, okay? The very next year, earlier that year. Then Joshua loses to Usyk, right? In the next 2021. Then Wilder does the same thing. The only difference is, yeah, they both was beaten last year, but Joshua gets beaten again. Now it's changed tides because now Wilder is beat Helenius. Now it's time for Joshua to come back in December. So technically, they're mirroring each other. Wilder's next fight should be, okay, forget Wilder, Fury versus Usyk. North London. Joe Joyce is 38. Fuck off says he's 37. I think so. I think he is. Joe don't beat all. I like Joe. Ams Modus, what's up? Brennan, a hell of a night in New York. It was a hell of a night. It was. Brennan Smith. It was basically all knockouts. It was basically all knockouts. I mean, you had the co-main event knockout. Frank Sanchez knocking out Carlos, well, stopping Carlos Negron. Then Wilder knocking out Helenius. I mean, out cold. Cold. JJ, counterpunch brother, I hope Wilder faces Dillian White. That is the fight I would like to see. Jay, that won't happen. For one, Wilder doesn't respect Dillian White enough to give him a fight. Bars. He doesn't. He looks at Dillian White as a peasant. I think he'll always look at Dillian White like that, even though they got beat by the same people. You know, he's always going to look at Dillian White like that, like the peasant. That's what he calls him. Dillian the peasant. I just want to see more fight. I can't wait to see AJ fight in December. You know, yeah, I'm looking forward to AJ fighting. As long as it's still, you know, pretty good competition, long as it's better than Helenius. Let's be real. You know, it would be boss if he did fight Joe Joyce. That shit would be sick. If Anthony Joshua fought Oleksandr Usyk, then Joe Joyce, you know, and he was able to take out Joe Joyce, which that's not out of the question. It's just, can Anthony Joshua keep that shit up for 12 rounds? But one thing you don't understand, you have to understand about Joshua. I think Joshua would probably have a better chance of beating Joe Joyce now. I want you guys to listen to me. You're going to think I'm crazy. Than he did 4 years ago. Why? Because Anthony Joshua was big, solid, buff, you know, and he You remember the saying, you remember the video? What's the commercial? Some like it rough, some like it tough. Well, he was tough. I mean, he was a hard-hitting guy. He had a lot of muscle mass and all that shit, and he was just knocking people out. He was going to wars with people, right? And knock them out. Dillian White, Vladimir Klitschko, Alexander Povetkin. You guys remember. But then, like, I don't think that version, I don't think Joshua beats Joe Joyce back then. I think he beats him now. And you're going to say, now? Why? Because Anthony Joshua don't like to get hit like he used to. Because he knows, well, that shit comes at a price. And I paid that price June 1st, 2019 against Andy Ruiz. So yeah, he would be more cautious. So if anything, if Joshua fought Joe Joyce, he would fight Joe Joyce in spots like he does anyway nowadays. But he would definitely pace himself better than he would as a person that's only mindset is to go in there and blitz you out with combinations of left hooks and uppercuts. Okay, he would be more cautious of in what he should do. The only problem is, can he stop the juggernaut from doing whatever he's trying to do? That's the question. Ruiz has not proved himself to get in the front line of the line. Well, sometimes every dog has his day, and he had two. That's how I look at Andy Ruiz. I should stop being mad at Andy. Andy's a overall good guy. I just think he didn't want to take every risk, just like most PBC fighters. You know what I mean? I think they're pretty much taught and educated, not to take risk. I think their whole idea of making money is to take like certain fights, but that's those certain fights, if they're risky, they better be worth the stretch. If they're not worth the stretch, they're not doing it. That's what Al Heyman has put into him. Like, look, be more business minded. Don't take that hard fight over there, because you might take that hard fight. Even if you win, you might get injured, you might get banged up, and you might have a lot of wear and tear. So you won't be fresh for the next fight to come that's worth the money, that's worth the wear and tear. Okay. So I think that's a lot of the mentality over there. Definitely. Fury needs to fight Usyk for the undisputed. North London, he does. Calm down, son. There are special man on man channels out there devoted to white. Fuck off. Very disappointed in Marshall. Big letdown. I mean, she did what she tried. I think really our mindsets for being fans of anybody shouldn't be if they win or lose. I think everybody loves a winner. But then it's like if they don't win, you have all this, you know, letdown and disappointment where it's like, okay, well, it's almost like guys should look at boxers as like a football team on the NFL, or shit, soccer too, or football, you guys call it. Just because they don't win all the time don't mean they just suck and they ain't shit. And you know, Steve Hawk, go cry about excuses, Wilder fan. Wilder still won't beat AJ, Fury or Usyk. He's top contender tier, and that's because the heavyweight division is weak right now. Well, um, he took on Tyson Fury, just came up short. Ex Con, happy belated birthday, Kurt. Ex Con, man, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Some people forgot my fucking birthday, to be honest. you know, Austral atmosphere. I like Usyk versus Ruiz because they size. Wilder. I like Usyk versus Ruiz because their size. Wilder does need to fight AJ. AJ has no other choice. Let won't let don't want to see size disadvantage. Ruiz needs to step inside from Wilder. Yeah, he'll get knocked out. Now I just see him getting knocked out. Usyk has the skills to sell the fight for a bigger purse, and he'll get it. Well, he'll get it because he's the champion, and they have to offer him something big if they want him to fight on, Fox PPC. Rare record collector. Happy birthday, brother. Love your channel. Thanks for the unbiased reporting on boxing. Rare boxing Rare record collector. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Man, I literally had, man, like people forget about my birthday, like close fucking people. You're like, dude, how you forget about my birthday, man? So I was like, I was bent up about that a bit, not too much, but just enough to be disappointed, right? Rocco Sage, Kurt, AJ fought 3 40-year-olds, and we say nothing. He fought a cooked 40-year-old Pulev, and we treated it like it was a big opponent. Wilder fights Ortiz, and he's a bum. Mm. Well, I don't know. I never thought that at all. I think the best person on his resume is Luis Ortiz, Rocco. Uh, I don't know about you say 3 40-year-olds. Well, we got Povetkin that knocked out a younger Dillian White, and when Dillian White was 32 years of age, Anthony Joshua got him. And the only person that got Alexander Povetkin before that was who? Vladimir Klitschko. Then it was Vladimir Klitschko. Then it was Pulev. And the only person that beat Pulev was who? Vladimir Klitschko. So you have to really put in terms of the competition levels of all of these fighters. See, you look at Povetkin, you look at Pulev, you look at Dillian White, and you look at Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua beat all of them. See, you can't say that about them. And I don't think really the age is like all defining factor, especially in the heavyweight division. Why? Because the heavyweight division is a unique division because when you get 45-year-olds knocking out younger guys, the shit can happen, because the power is the last to go. You have the experience, you might not have the speed and all that and the wit and all that stuff like you used to. But in the heavyweight division, it's a little different than if it was at 147 or 135 or 160, because one punch can change everything. And Povetkin showed us that. Andy Ruiz showed us that. But those guys you call old 40-year-old, like Pulev, beat everybody except for Vladimir Klitschko and Joshua. He recently got beat by Derek Chisora, but to be fair, Derek Chisora and Pulev nowadays, that was this year, they're more on the same age tier. So it was a pretty even fight, and it was a back and forth fight. You know what I mean? So I don't look at Joshua like, oh, he fought 40-year-olds, because we could say that about Tyson Fury. Ain't 39 shit just 1 year before 40? The year and a half Joshua fought him. So if you're gonna, because a lot of people trip me out. They want to talk about when Fury beat Vlad, but then they want to diss AJ for beating Vlad also. Well, dude, you act like that shit was 3 or 4 years later. No, it was like a year and a half later, where Klitschko wanted to fight Tyson. Tyson started doing coke, fell off. He tested positive for cocaine first. Then comes UCAD back with the nandrolone. So imagine that shit happening for Fury, and he just fell all the way off and got fat and all this stuff. But he's supposed to fight Tyson again, or should I say Tyson's supposed to fight him again. And then here comes Joshua, and Vladimir gave Joshua an ass whooping. I don't care what nobody says. If you take that 11th round out of that fight, Vladimir Klitschko gave that young lion a well-whooped ass. He showed you why you shouldn't gas out. He showed you why you shouldn't shoot your wad. He showed you the experience factor and determination of how I can get back up and I could start putting that pain to you like he did in the 5th round. And then the 6th round, his ass went down. Bars. Vladimir did that shit. People talk about Ruiz all day long, and Joshua ain't been the same since Ruiz. Joshua ain't been the same since Klitschko. Klitschko, the one hit him with that right hand, caught him with that nowadays Wilder shot, and made his ass fall down, and he was stumbling around the ring for like the next 2 or 3 rounds trying to get his composure back. Vladimir should have took his ass out. I didn't think Joshua had it in him, but honestly, I think Vladimir Klitschko used the wrong game plan by dragging his ass into the later rounds when he should have got rid of Joshua when Joshua was ready to get taken out. He should have done that. I lost my voice. I was watching that fight with my dad, one of the best fights in 2017. That, and then Thurman versus Garcia. Yeah, Thurman versus Garcia. That was a pretty good one, right? Because I think that was like right around the same time frame. But um, but other than that, though, those 40-year-olds haven't been beaten by anybody. And how boxing works now, like Joe Joyce will probably be 38 before he gets a title shot, maybe even 39. So it's a big thing. I see Wilder versus AJ next in Nigeria. Linus Jola. I would love to see Joshua taking on Wilder in Nigeria because it would mean more. Africa's the motherland. Africa is the beginning of all civilization, as they say, right? And it's one of those places, if you're from that place and you have history or roots within that place, you're going to fight harder. See, that Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman fight meant more than just that fight. Yeah, the odds were stacked against Ali, but Ali knew it was time for him to go home and take on that big bad bully. The boogeyman was George Foreman. Ali knew that. Ali knew, I have to take this guy out here and now, and I'm going to do it in Nigeria. Absolutely. Usyk not even looking down at Wilder. Kings fight kings, remember? Well, Peter, he did say he was going to be at the fight. Now, that is disappointing because if something did happen, we would want to know about it. I would love to interview Usyk, but then you'd have to get an interpreter and all that. I guess Washington and Dunapas are runners up as the hardest punchers in the division based on this. I know, right? Because they're the only one that took him out. I mean, listen, do you guys remember when Wilder was going to come back into the sport? Because our memories are very short. Bars. And he was saying, I want AJ, I want Andy Ruiz, I want, who else was it? AJ, Andy Ruiz. It was some fucking body else that he wanted to fight. It might have been Usyk too. I'm not sure. But AJ, Andy Ruiz, it was another fighter that he mentioned. Maybe I think it was Dillian White, right? And then it was Helenius. I'm like, where the hell is Helenius coming from? Helenius ain't nobody that we want to see you battle with. Where the hell you come up with him? And it was like that, like, okay, Andy Ruiz, okay, I get it, former champion. Anthony Joshua, former champion. You know what I mean? Oleksandr Usyk, current unified champion. And then all of a sudden, Robert Helenius. And it's always that odd ass name that sticks out because that's the one they're going to pick. So no, it didn't surprise me that he picked him at all. No, it didn't. And people forget about that shit quick. Yes, I love knockouts. Yes, I was excited. No, that wasn't a dive at all. I don't think Wilder. How could it was a dive when Helenius dove his fucking face into that right hand. Usyk is not just going to stand in front of Wilder. No, he's not. The drum, Kurt ex-con. Absolutely. It's right here. It's right here, man. I wasn't drinking last night, but I was hyped because when you play for a long periods of time, this here gets calloused. And if it's not calloused because you're not playing like you normally do, it'll uncallous. It's weird, and the sound is on the edge. So you're hitting the edge of the drum. How can you duck the person that lost to the person that you want to unify with? Baki Hanma, counterpunch to you. Listen, Usyk, let's talk about Usyk for a minute. How does Joshua beat Wilder? Knock him out. Have him fighting backwards. See, you have to understand that people like, oh, he caught him on the back foot. This is what Wilder does. He doesn't necessarily catch him on the back foot. He does step back, But if you notice, it's not an original back foot plot. What he does is he leans against the rope for extra leverage to give his arm more leverage. Then he propels forward. He did that shit against Luis Ortiz. If you guys can remember the first fight, Luis was coming forward just like Helenius, and he leans across the ropes, he leans back, and then he comes forward and he catches him. You know what I mean? You would think it looks like kind of a step back pull counter, but it's not. He just used the ropes to propel forward and just twerked with his hips, with his waist, and turked it in. But it wasn't like he was in the middle of the ring and stepped and bah! He used that fucking rope almost like a WWE wrestler. Usyk can't beat Wilder or Fury. Tell me how Wilder can beat Fury. Knock him out. I mean, they fought 3 times. I think that's pretty much a no done. But I think if Wilder fought Tyson Fury and he's a lot smaller, he would be a lot better. That would be a totally different fight. But Fury understood something very, very good and very important about Wilder. You have to fight Wilder. You have to throw caution to the wind and fight him. Because if you don't take it to Wilder, you only give Wilder time to think and set up the punch that's going to take you out anyway. And you know what it is. It's going to be the right hand. I'm disappointed in the first round knockout because I wanted to see Wilder do more. I wanted to see what they were working on. And that shit only builds arrogance and pride in the team of Wilder, because Wilder may get to the point, man, I just hit him with this right hand. They could be, they have to be perfect for 36 minutes. I don't have to be perfect for 2 seconds. That type of talk there is talks of arrogance, honestly. It's talks of arrogance. Helenius will go back to being a taxi driver. No, Helenius will probably build him some kind of shop and go back. He's got to be embarrassed, and he just walked out the ring. Poor bastard. Wilder won one round against Fury last time. He only won 1 round against Helenius since. Like he was wiping something off his nose. Helenius has announced he's retiring. I bet he is. Kurt, Fury exposed Wilder, period. Joey Chaz, dude, everybody exposed Wilder. What are you talking about? You think that shit? You think this is what I don't like. I don't like the fact that people think that it was this one guy that was able to do it. Everybody exposed Wilder that fought him. The only problem is Wilder's a tough bastard. He's hard-headed and he's stubborn, and he can take a shot. Obviously, he can take a shot because people are able to hit Wilder. That shit that he was doing that just puts his arms up when the punches are coming at him, that's not a defensive-minded guy. That guy can't fight. When someone says when they can fight, you know what that means? That means they're able to fight, attack, and to protect themselves with defense. That's the definition to me of a guy that knows how to fight. He knows how to fight, but you're not going to necessarily knock his block off because his head, he's going to use some type of defense. He's not going to put his arm up. You know what I mean? And take 2 or 3 punches from a guy that just, you got to be tough. You know what I mean? That's why he doesn't really watch. If you watch Wilder, he doesn't worry really about head movement because he just knows I'm gonna withstand anything that these fighters are gonna take, but can they take my right? The tomato can king is back. Wilder has the best right hand in history. I don't know about in history, dude. You can't say that shit. It's a lot of people that got up. You know who got up from those punches? Ortiz got up 2 or 3 times. Fury got up twice. So they got up. I mean, you can get hit and get up. Fuck. Stavern got up 3 times. Well, 2. Right? I mean, it can happen. Nothing impressive about knocking out C-class fighters. Kurt, rewatched the third fight. Fury fell off phantom punches. Joey Chaz, I'm going to tell you. Can I tell you something? CD Towel, hold that. Usyk calls out Fury, then ducks him, then calls out Wilder, then ducks him, and Dopey Eddie calls him pound for pound the best. CD Towel, we'll see what he says. We'll see what happens. If he fights Tyson Fury at the end of the day, who cares? Because I mean, that's the champion. He wants to go for unification. So obviously, if we learned anything about Oleksandr Usyk, we've heard that he was in contact with his manager, Igis Klimas, and he told Igis Klimas, I'm only interested in unification right now. You know, so because we heard him say that, and it's like, well, wait a minute. I thought Usyk was going to be at the Barclays Center watching Wilder fight, so he could be a possible opponent, taking notes and shit. If I'm here, I like the stream. Upload, it's only right. Counterpunch to you. 240 watching, only 4 likes. I know, right? We need to stop the narrative of someone always ducking. Peter 215. Usyk versus Fury is the fight to see. Forget everything else. I can't say forget everything else. That's stupid. That's what kills boxing. Because people surround boxing around one fight. And you know what? They did that shit with Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. And then when that fight was over, boxing took a huge dip. I'd rather see Wilder versus Joyce. Why not? Why not see it? Why not see that? You know, Wilder versus Joyce would be a good fight. You know, what would be ballsy if, dude, if Joyce took out Wilder, Fury would be backed into a corner because there's nothing that he could really say. What are you going to talk about, Klitschko? Klitschko's dude 7 years ago. That's damn near a decade ago. Now you need to talk about something relevant. Oh, that's right. Your best win relevant is the couple wins you had over Wilder. Now someone has done the same thing you have, so you're not the only one. It's almost like if you were the only one that beat a fighter and someone else does it, it's almost like breaking your record, especially when they perform a lot better than you did, or the performance was a lot more exciting or more dominant, more precise of a win. I think that's the case in that situation. So, you gotta I gotta get you for that. I have vested interest that you don't get beat. Now Loma want to fight. Let's see who really ducking. Well, let's see. But I can tell you this. Let's talk about Loma for a minute. Lomachenko, depending on, I know once upon a time he could have beat Haney. I'm not sure about now because the man has been in war. He didn't really look good against Comey anyway. Let's be real. He looked good against the Asian fighter. I forget his name. The Japanese fighter that fought Teofimo Lopez. He really did a good mop job on him. But then again, I don't know. I don't know if he can do that now. You got the war factor, you got the inactivity. You don't know where his mindset is. We've seen Usyk overcome, but can Loma do the same thing? Why you want Wilder to be supported? He full of excuses. Why do I want him to be supported? He's a heavyweight boxer in this boxing platform landscape. What do you mean? He need to just welcome himself back with a win, and he hasn't had a win over 2 years. Why are we hating? That's the question I ask you. Why are you hating on Wilder? Yeah, he fought a guy. He is a fucking tune-up. We know what it is. If you guys don't know Helenius was a tune-up, I don't know what to tell you. The only thing look, Helenius made his mark. He stopped an undefeated fighter. But how good was the undefeated fighter, though, really? He was a guy that threw a lot of punches that had no defense. Go figure. And he knocked him the fuck out. Ooh. So what else you got? Now if you ask Helenius, that's a good win for him because, a guy that knocked him out got beat by the guy he beat, which is Gerald Washington. Okay. So it is what it is, man. Helenius looked hilarious. Helenius looked like Ted Levine. Okay, if you guys don't know Ted Levine played in a lot of movies. He's an American actor. He played in a lot of westerners, like The Last Ride with Mickey Rourke. He played in Heat. He was one of the detectives in Heat, and that's what I'm going to talk about. And he also played in like Nowhere to Run with like Jean Claude Van Damme. He was the bad guy, But he looked like Ted Levine when Ted Levine got shot in Heat. You guys ever seen Heat with Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Wes Studi? These guys, it was an action-packed night of action-packed movie. Have you guys ever seen it? But Val Kilmer shot this fucking assault rifle and shot him right here, and he's like, you know what I mean? That's how Helenius looked. Helenius looked like he was actually got shot and he was in shock. Double GS, absolutely. He is one of my favorite best movies too. And it's crazy. People are like, what's your best movie? And I just kind of go blank because it's so many fucking movies. That shoot out scene was still fire. Man, that shit was, dude, I could watch that and get goosebumps. Especially like, what do you call it? The score music. The score music was hot lava. It's called Force Maker or something like that. I think it is. I'll listen to it if I'm driving somewhere and I want to stay up. You know what I mean? Helenius needs a rematch. Wilder cheated. He had egg weights in his gloves. That's not right. But Wilder called Fury a cheat. Why would any boxing fan support a liar? I mean, I think it's all about denial, but I think for Wilder, it's a belief. But you have to understand a person in denial, people, is a person that believes that. You might be in denial about something, but you might believe it. That's how strong the denial is. If the denial factor within you, you're just hell bent on just this is what it is. Nobody can tell me shit else. It's a huge state of denial. So calling someone that, I think, is the wrong, context. A person like that is delusional. You would call Wilder delusional. Why? Because he thinks that for a second that he was right and everything else and everybody is telling him wrong. Like, yo, look, here's the gloves. Here's the same gloves. Here's the same type, same brand, same color, same fucking everything. And you're telling me that he cheated some type of way, So now you're a psychologist, Kurt. No, I'm just really just stating the facts. That's obvious information. Like, okay, if someone really believes that something happened, how the fuck are you calling them a liar, even though it's not true? It's a wrong context because you wouldn't call a person, man, I know that's what happened. They're not, lying is deliberately knowing the truth and saying, you know what? I'm going to say something else. For what reason, I don't know. That's a different scenario. Two different stories. Okay? If you really believe something, you could just call a person that knows, okay, that shit don't make sense. But if that person really believes that, that means that person, something in that person's brain is off. So he's delusional because he's not thinking with common sense, because either he's convinced some type of way of the ass whooping. And it's actually sad, though, people. It is sad. Kurt, rewatch the third fight. Fury fell off phantom punches. Joey Chaz, I will get to you, I promise. But if a person believes, man, I know that's what it is. It's delusion is almost the opposite, of lying, because it's just not true. It's just like, look, this person believes this. Like, dude, I really believe I can do this. You know what I mean? Who are you to tell that person they're a liar? Man, you lying. That's really an insult to someone that has that type of mindset. Hey, Kurt, do you think Al Heyman could have paid Usyk off not to challenge Wilder so that Wilder and Anthony can happen? Jack Steele. I don't know if he can bribe the man, Jack Steele, that calls himself I am very feel. Counterpunch to you, man. I don't think so. Jack Oblease. Let me do this because he said this before. I've read this 2 or 3 times. Tyson Fury, because I did a video about this. Tyson Fury in the second knockdown, it was a deliberate dive. And I'm going to tell you why he deliberately did it. He did it because he needed more time. That right hand that caught him primarily, okay, Jack Steele, okay, you can see when it landed, it hit that man in the temple, it hit him right here. And when it hit him, a ball like that force rolled all the way down that jelly ass back of Wilder and then hit his ass and disintegrated. And then he kind of stumbled and then he fell down. He needed more time. He needed more time. That's why he knew. He caught Wilder and like, shit, Wilder's not hurt. Because Fury did catch him. But Wilder's adrenaline was too high. You weren't going to hurt Wilder at that point because Wilder knew, this is my time, get him. This is my time to hurt him. Get him. Wilder tested positive after a twerk session in his Transformer outfit. Now Usyk is ducking now. Double G S. No, he's not ducking. But see, here's the question, and here's the scenario we're dealing with Usyk. If Usyk doesn't fight Tyson, and Tyson is willing to make the fight, because Tyson is not the easiest person in the world to make a fight with people. You can ask several people about Tyson Fury. For one, you can ask Wilder. Remember, the second fight was supposed to have been in 2019. That shit didn't happen till the year after. You can ask Dillian White. How long did it take Dillian White and them guys to actually sign the contract? Okay. You can ask Anthony Joshua. How many failed attempts did they have for getting a contract signed? Okay. You can ask Oleksandr Usyk. Well, hey, he's saying one thing now, he's saying another thing. So it's the fight with, and that's what we're talking about, Oleksandr Usyk. A fight with Tyson Fury is not all that easy to make because it's not like he didn't have problems with any other people trying to get them in the ring. Yes, he had problems. Yes, his team or whoever, him personally, let shit go and said things he shouldn't have, and you know what I mean? And he really jeopardized a lot of fights and a lot of possible performances that we could have enjoyed with our very own eyes and ears. It hasn't even been 24 hours. How can people say he's ducking? Big Wah. I mean, that's the narrative. That's the narrative over on the Wildette side. That's why I asked the question. I hope you guys voted before you come in or before you came in. Usyk will be due a mandatory soon. Well, if he's due a mandatory, which one? Yet you never said a word about AJ talking about the superior race, but Tyson said things he shouldn't. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not understanding. A word about AJ talking about superior race? Yeah, yeah. What we gonna do with you? Okay, cool. All right. I want Joyce versus Wilder. Joyce versus Wilder would be a good fight. Wilder, I think he's faster now. I think that right hand is a lot more dangerous now. Just like to say, fair play, Shields, the better boxer on the night. Well, she was the better boxer. Yeah, we could see that with our eyes closed, said Stevie. Said Ray Charles. I mean, we could, yeah. Clarissa Shields, man, she did what she had to do. Wilder would clip Joyce. He would definitely try. And we would know it quickly. I don't think it would just drag on. Usyk versus Canelo. No, I don't want to see that right now at all. I mean, I think that would be a wash anyway. Usyk versus Canelo. Usyk would just box Canelo all day. He would do a southpaw version of Bivol, but worse, because what Usyk will do, Usyk will give you fits being a southpaw and will hit you in so many different angles. It would be hard for Canelo to try to get those counters off because you know that's what Canelo would be banking on, trying to go to the right to the body, a looping right upstairs, a left hook to the body. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. Um, Wilder Joyce is a dangerous fight for both guys. Absolutely. What would be the easiest heavyweight fight to make? Wilder versus Andy Ruiz, a fight that will be made because there's nobody else. I mean, he just fought. Joshua then has to fight and get past whoever he's fighting. Sugar Ray Robinson versus Floyd Mayweather. Be a good fight. Very good fight. That's the most likely fight, honestly. Yeah, it's Wilder and Andy Ruiz, guys. And you know, we're talking about Oleksandr Usyk. Where the hell is Andy Ruiz at? We haven't heard him talk about anything to anyone. He might do that shit. He might be the one that's ducking. You know, Andy Ruiz been doing a lot of ducking since 2020 and on through this current day, this present day. I'm not ready. Wilder, he has the power. I don't want him to hit me and hurt me. I seen him hit Hellenius. I don't want to take that type of punishment. Andrew has no delusions about beating Usyk. What do you mean he has no delusions? He says he can beat him? I think I can beat Usyk. After the fight, I can't stand Usyk. You make me sick. No point Wilder fighting Ruiz and knocking him out. He'd be called another bum. Luca Mora, he's a better. He has a better resume than Robert Hellenius. You know, don't hurt my Andy. Don't take my candy, Deontay. To this day. Oh. That'd be so sad looking. That sight would be sad to me. Imagine Wilder just hitting fucking Ruiz and Ruiz just sitting up, you know, belly all laying and blubbering and moving and shit. You're like, damn, that dude's, his stomach's moving on the ground. All around from his top of his stomach to around his damn, what do you call them damn things? Love handles. Muffin tops. That's it. Kurt, why do people hate Canelo so much? Without him boxing, we'll be dead in the USA. Yeah, pretty much. They hate him because he's successful. A lot of people hated Canelo a long time, though. It ain't like people have just started hating Canelo because he's just successful. A lot of people started disliking Canelo when he was with Golden Boy. And when he was with Golden Boy, he had like a layer of protection. And a lot of those LDBC channels said he had the complexion for the collection, for the connection. And what that mean is because he had fair skin and he looked like an Irish guy, people supported him better. People supported him more. Not because he was fight or good, you know, none of that. So hold on a second. All right, here we go. Have you ever seen a boxing match that made you cry? Nah, it ain't made me cry. Million Dollar Baby was a sad, pissy movie, but I didn't cry over the shit. Um, Apollo getting killed too in Rocky Four was kind of dramatic, but I didn't cry over the shit, even though I was a damn kid when it happened. But um, Canelo Mexican, what you about on about? No, Marshall Lee. I didn't say he wasn't Mexican. What I'm saying is a lot of people didn't like him because they claimed that because he had fair skin and red hair, he looked like, because everybody thought I said he looked like an Irishman. He does look like an Irishman. He looks like he's from fucking Dublin. He looks like he's from Galway. But the thing is, a lot of people did not like him because they thought because he had lighter skin, this was the narrative, okay? I'm explaining to you. The narrative was because Canelo Alvarez looked the way he looked, that's what made him more appealing. So a lot of people like Juan Manuel Marquez did question, well, hey, if he was just a regular Mexican brown-skinned person from Mexico, would he get this type of love? That's the question you asked yourself. Okay, so this ain't a black and white thing. This is a more like a brown and white thing. It's just everybody else had an opinion about it. Okay. Mick Canelo. I know, right? Say Don. Wilder, the Picasso, spent about as much time on the canvas. Usyk wins. I'm betting the odds. Complexion. The LDBC don't even like Baumgardner because she picked Fury over Wilder. Well, go figure. They're not going to like that anyway. Why would they like anybody that's picking uh, Fury over Wilder? Understand? It's exactly keyword narrative. A lot of people, what's fucking, what are you on about? He's Mexican. Yeah, he knows he's Mexican. But, a lot of people don't. But I will tell you a story. And this is not a narrative at all. This is facts. I was at a friend's house not too far from here years ago, before Canelo fought Floyd Mayweather. Money Mayweather. And then people hated Floyd, for different reasons, right? And I was in this house. I mean, it was it was me, my boy Tim, and a lot of his friends. A lot of his friends were Caucasian, right? And then we heard like the chicks was like, oh, I like Canelo. Yeah, he's fucking hot and he's just like Irish. I'm like, no, he's not. Oh, well, he looks Irish. That's good enough. So I'm like, okay. But I'm thinking like, okay, if these broads from Louisiana had this type of mindset, who else had that type of mindset? Counterpunch. You know what I mean? So a lot of people's perception for someone that looks a certain way, that's how most people identify ethnicity, of how you look. What are you perceived to be? Fuck your nationality. You could be fucking England or a Brit. Don't mean you look like the Queen Elizabeth. You know what I mean? So that has nothing to do with it. But people, that goes a long way with certain people that already have a biased mindset of how people look. Because a lot of people, believe it or not, judge you on how you look. That's facts. Unfortunately, but that's facts. Please don't bet on that fight. Francisco, according to Deontay and the LDBC, anybody who isn't black has the complexion for the protection. I don't know about the LDBC. Fuck Dante's Boxing Nation. And as a matter of fact, he's shown his true colors he used them when it was convenient. Then he tried to sue like a couple of those guys. You know what I mean? Saying, well, that's mine, and this is this, and this is that. He drew a line. So, all that black unity shit, it didn't work. He didn't believe it in any way. So he's the major hypocrite in that whole situation. Wilder top tier. Look at North London. He just beat his own sparring partner and made his fans pay to watch it. Absolutely. Actually, to be fair, it was Al Heyman that made everyone pay to watch it and used him as a tool to do so. So I don't think it was Wilder. I want y'all to pay for me so I can knock out this guy so I can come back into the sport of boxing. You see my statue? There are non-white Irish people in Ireland. There sure are. I just came from Ireland, and that's what you see. You see all types of people. Thank you very much. Gray. On the outside, I'm white, blue-eyed, English. On the inside, I'm Yardy, a lion. Okay. That's what's up, man. That's what matters when you're on the inside. Solid rock of Jesus Christ ministry. Wilder is the same guy that held up the whole division for years shopping for tomato cans. Well, he had some help. He couldn't do it himself. Wilder could not duck Dillian White and other fighters like that alone. He had to have help. He had Mauricio. He had a lot of people. He had Al Heyman. He had Shelly Finkel. And I think Shelly Finkel did more harm than good because Shelly Finkel was a guy that looked at him kind of like a stepchild or some shit like that because he didn't want to get him, to fight. Shelly Finkel, no, we don't want Deontay to fight. Um, we don't want Deontay to fight Vladimir Klitschko. And let me tell you guys a story before I jump off here about Deontay Wilder. Okay. Um, I'm going to share this with you guys since I got like over 200 of you guys here. I was talking to one of the good friends of Deontay Wilder. Okay. And he told me, he said, Wilder felt that he was getting neglected, you know, and then it was like he wanted the fights like Klitschko. He wanted these big, huge fights, but he never got them. Okay. He wanted Charles Martin. Charles Martin, chose to fight Anthony Joshua for like 8 million fucking dollars, which at the time, Al Heyman didn't have for Wilder. Wilder wasn't making anywhere near $8 million. At the time, he was making maybe about 300, 400,000, 200,000. That was his fight purse, so that was that. And then I asked him, I'm like, well, okay, well, why didn't he get those fights? And he's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, well, dude, didn't it occur to you to ever ask? Or did it ever occur to you to ask him or for him to ask his manager? His manager managed to keep him away from Vladimir Klitschko. See, Vladimir Klitschko, along with a lot of other people, and Klitschko was the man. You guys remember he was the man. Vladimir Klitschko, people, went on public TV, and he knows Deontay Wilder. He didn't give a shit. He was like, well, I want Deontay Wilder to fight stiffer competition. And he's not doing that, and he should do that if he wants to be recognized and be taken seriously in the heavyweight division. Exactly, Bill, Dr. Steelhammer. And he didn't say it disrespectfully because it's fucking Vladimir. The big, humble, jolly giant motherfucker. You could pour water on him, he just sits there and looks at you. He's too damn nice. Now, I think Vitali would beat the brakes off you, but even Vitali got spit on by Derek Chisora, but he paid, because they were in the middle of the ring and Vitali beat the shit out of him. But anyway, I think uh, it's facts that Wilder was just kept. I don't think Wilder wanted to just fight these guys. That's the people they put in front of him. It didn't matter if he asked for the shit or not. But understand, he was managed by Shelly Finkel. Shelly Finkel also managed Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir Klitschko was the man, and he was somewhere down to 3 to 4 or whatever, and it was other people ahead of him. He might have been on the same level once upon a time as Charles Martin, and we all know what happened to him. So, Wilder, I think, though, in the grand scheme of things, let's look at it really realistically. Besides him choosing to fight Tyson, that was a fuck up. He shouldn't have fought Tyson. He should have fought Joshua, and he would have made more money. He might have stopped Joshua. Joshua might have stopped him, though. But I think it was like, ego contest. Like, look, fuck Joshua because Joshua is making too much money. Fuck him and Eddie Hearn. You're offering the guys that I could have fought a whole lot of money that I never made, but then you want me to get to take what you're giving me. Fuck you. I'm a champion too. And all this, that, and the other. Okay, so that was what Wilder was talking about. Wilder hated the idea that Joshua was so damn successful and popular and all the other shit, and people wanted to fight him. You're getting 20 million pounds. Whoever fucking heard 20 million pounds? They didn't. The only person heard of 20 million pounds on the PBC lineup or the Fox or the Showtime was Floyd Money Mayweather, right? Floyd was hoarding all the fucking money like he's doing to this day. You got all those broke ass fighters over there and Floyd making $20 million for fucking exhibitions. That's sad, bro. At the end of the day, it's sad. But that's the way it is. AJ is the A side without a belt. He has to be. And see, Tyson knew the only way that he could possibly hold a conversation with Anthony Joshua is that, hey, I do have to offer this motherfucker a percentage. Because there's no way I'm going to get him in the ring or come anywhere near getting him in the ring without opening up that particular Wilder might have to leave the US to get a decent fight, whether it's in the UK, Germany, or Saudi Arabia? Well, I think he will stay with Al Heyman as long as Al Heyman's around. I don't think he'll go anywhere. I don't think he'll go anywhere. You know, Usyk won't duck anyone. You're only telling one side of the story. What story am I not telling? Who are you talking to? Repent and believe the gospel. James Tippins. Depends on what gospel you're referring to, my friend. Okay, come to Christ and be saved. All right, now you're talking. Wilder got more bodies on his belt than any AJ or Fury. Let's be real. Mike Jones. Yeah, he has a lot of bodies. He's knocked out a lot of people. But understand, who are those people? Did those people have any substance? Are those people still around right now? If you take the first 20 people that Wilder's fought, the first 20, you know, that's what it is. The first 20, you'll find that none of those guys are probably fighting right now. They are, like Wilder knocked out a bunch of cab drivers. They're blue collar, they're blue collar men right now. Or they're just older, Fury beats Usyk and Wilder knocks him out. Wilder gives me special ED vibes. Well, Wilder, Wilder's an emotional person. I think sometimes when you get emotional and you speak, you don't have the proper type of etiquette. I do think though, it's ironic though. One of my favorite fighters of all time is Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. And Joe Louis, he had a speech impediment. He had a speech impediment. He did. If you heard Joe Louis talk, I'm not even going to mimic it. It's not funny, but he had a speech impediment. Okay. All right. Luca Mora, you're only telling the side of the story. You missed out Eddie banned from boxing for talking about catching a body in the ring. No, he fucking didn't. Wait. Okay, you're only telling the side of the story. You missed that Eddie Hearn and AJ skullduggery negotiation tactics to get out of the fight. Luca Moro, you cannot tell me that a motherfucker gets offered $12 million, that his net worth of 40, no, how many fights he had at that time? 38, 39? 39 fights he had at the time, right? The man had 39 fights. And he only made all of them together like 16 million. And you offer this motherfucker 12.5. But he ducked. So you mean to tell me, Luca? Okay, I'm going to show you. Let me give you an example of a duck, Luca. This is a duck. Hey, you want to fight me? We're going to make you an offer. What's the offer? We're going to offer you 12.5. Take it or leave it. That's a duck. How is it a duck? Because what you're doing is you're putting a deadline, so you don't even want someone to think. So that's your excuse because he didn't make the deadline. Then you're giving him 12.5 with no rooms for negotiation. That's another way out because you give nobody no wiggle room, no negotiations whatsoever. You're just telling them this is how it's going to be. That didn't happen now, did it? What happened? 12.5 turned into 15 million, which they agreed to, then turned around and said they didn't agree to it, then found out they did agree to it, and then the only reason they didn't agree to it because it was no rematch clause. I'm like, well, fuck, are you mad because there's no rematch clause? And that made me think, like, wait a minute. They went from 12.5, you called slave wages, then they went to 15 million flat. Then they told you, well, then you agreed. Then you jumped the gun because you found out there was no rematch clause. So after there was no rematch clause, then you said, you know what? I don't want to accept. And we never said we accepted. Yes, you did. You are on fucking an interview said, we accept all the terms. We accept the terms. Then you turned around and said, oh, no, we never accept the terms. That's true. This is documented. This is not an opinion. Okay, this is not an opinion. This is facts. And Shelly Finkel, that came from his mouth. Okay, the brain over there on Team Wilder, right? And then they didn't want it. They didn't want it. Why? Because it wasn't a rematch clause. That's the only reason. I'm like, what the fuck? Shit. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao didn't have a rematch clause. That's why they never fought. You guys understand? They never fought again. They didn't have to have a rematch clause. Fuck all this rematch clause shit. And then mostly a rematch clause really for the guy that's the B side is really not warranted anyway. Okay, that's not a warranted or a guarantee. Wilder should have came in there, fought Joshua, caught him with that right hand, knocked him out. Then he would be fighting him again, just like Andy Ruiz did the next year. Come on, man. Y'all stop that shit. So you're only saying one side of the story, Kurt. Well, there's no other side. And then Eddie kept offering him that. Then came to the zone fucking deal. You're not even mentioning that, are you? What other side? Is that the side you thought that I missed? I haven't even got to it yet. So don't give me any shit about Joshua and Deontay Wilder negotiations when the A side is constantly sending offers to the B side. You know, a true duck is when they don't offer nothing at all and they decide to fight someone else. That's what that is. Okay? So I don't want to hear any shit about, oh, this, that. Dude, I was there. I covered the whole thing. I remember the $50 million deal, the situation. I remember the deadline that they set on that particular situation. I remember that clearly. I do remember that. And they gave a Joshua B-side says, hey, that's like Manny Pacquiao telling Floyd, Floyd, we're going to give you $50 million to fight us on HBO. Fuck your deal with Showtime. You cannot fight on Showtime no more, and you have to fight me on HBO. And Bob Arum said, if you don't take it, you have you cannot fight. You cannot fight me if you don't take the deal. Fuck Showtime deal. I know you signed with Showtime with millions of dollars, but if you want to fight me, take it or leave it. Floyd. That's the best scenario I can tell you. That's just like, and we all knew Manny Pacquiao, as popular as he was, and he was far more popular than Deontay Wilder was, right? Far more popular. He had his own fucking following, cult following, sponsored by Nike and all that shit. Okay? That was fucking Manny Pacquiao. Okay? And that's like Manny saying that. Now you look at it, it makes much more sense. Like, wait a minute. That don't even make sense. Why would the B side, which was Wilder, why would he then say, text Eddie Hearn in a fucking email saying, you a man about your word. I'm offering him $50 million because he said he wanted $50 million. You got 24 hours. You better be a man about your word. And what did Anthony Joshua say though? Let's roll. AJ said the $50 million and I will fight. He did. Wilder got cheated. He did. But what did he say after that? He said, let's roll. And what was the conversations that took place? Fuck if I know. I just know what was said about the conversations. And then what we were told about the conversations was, okay, send us the contract. And then their reply was, no, you have to send us, or you have to agree first before we send you the contract. That's what was said. And I'm like, okay, what kind of fucking shit is this? So let's do another scenario. That's like Floyd saying, I want to fight you, Manny. I want to fight you, show you I'm the best. I'm gonna beat you, Manny Pacquiao. I'm gonna tax that ass. Send me the contract. We gonna get with Al. Send me the contract. That's like Manny saying, no, and then you have to first say you're going to take the fight before we send you the contract. Because if you don't take the fight, we won't send you the contract. Man, fuck you, Manny Pacquiao. You know what? Yeah, I know y'all ducking. I know this is bullshit. They ain't gonna do nothing. Like, look, we're businessmen. At the end of the day, look, he's telling me, hey, Al, Leonard, he's telling us we gotta accept the contract. We gotta accept the contract. We gotta accept the fight before we send the contract. That contract have, you might go to hell on the contract if you lose or some shit. Right? That's exactly what that is. That's the equivalent of that. Not even really. Shelley received a contract with no venue. Okay. He received a contract with no venue. Who gives a fuck? Who cares where the venue's at? If he's agreeing to the fight, he's agreeing to the money. The venue is not even a big factor. And by the way, when he fought Povetkin, they also scheduled the second date. I think it was like April 18th, 2019 at Wembley. You guys forget, at Wembley. So he fought Povetkin at Wembley, and it was like 80,000 people, right? And he broke his own record with Vlad, right? Then he scheduled that on the 19th. Kurt, you need to do a boxing parody show. Your impressions are hilarious. Crazy world. I mean, I'm just trying to get people to understand how that shit looks. You know what I mean? How that shit looks. Fury is talking a warm-up fight before Usyk. Yes, that's Bogey 708. That's what Fury does. I want a tune-up fight, man. I just want one. That's Fury. Fury's the king of the fucking tune-ups. That's what he is. You need to call him Tuna. He's the king of the tune-ups. Can you do Eubanks Senior? Yeah, I don't want to do Eubanks. Eubanks is upset right now. He's mad. You tried to murder my boy. Eddie, I am coming for you. Now he's mad. I'm coming for you. You tried to kill my boy. I'm like, damn, is this Game of Thrones in this bitch? Like, what the fuck, man? It's estimated AJ made 130 for 2 Usyk fights with endorsements. AJ is rich as fuck. Yeah, that's true. Sounds like Yoda. Yeah, well, he probably does sound like Yoda. Tyson tune-up. Bill, Tyson tune-up. I'm Tyson the tune-up king. The tune-up king. I'm Tyson the tune-up king, Fury. I take tune-ups for fun. I take tune-ups like I'm eating tuna. That's why I'm Tyson the tuna. He tried to make AJ the tune-up, then found out that shit was a big drawn-out ass negotiations between all types of shit, and Tyson Fury said, fuck that. This shit's too fucking confusing. Why don't you just fucking sign the contract, you big fucking Dulce? Fuck your DAZN with the zone. I am the zone. I'm the zone. Come on, mate. AJ ain't making that figure over here. Eddie manipulating the public. I don't know. That's what it says. I don't know. You know, I just tell you this much, though. As far as money goes, like, you have to pretty much chop every fucking body's money in half anyway. So if Wilder said he made 30 million, that means he made about 15. Because taxes are 40% over here and in the UK. That's a fact. So if you get a lump sum of money, be sure to get pimped, because you're getting pimped. You won the lotto, motherfucker, 5 million, that means you made 2. Because the federal government is taking their cut. You know, don't worry, you won't have any street or any of that shit fixed. They're just taking the money off the top. Wilder beats Usyk easy. I think it'll take, if Wilder catches Usyk, it'll take him a while. He has to wait for Usyk to slow down. But then again, Wilder's fast now. He's faster. And I think that's much more dangerous. Man, you sound just like these fighters with these impersonations. The Floyd Mayweather impersonation was on point. But it's true, though, man. If Manny Pacquiao would have came to Floyd and offered him money after an offer was already set that he didn't respond, that's like Manny turning down the 40 million. Because you guys remember, and I'm about to jump off of here, so I'm going to leave you with this. Floyd called Manny Pacquiao. And you can imagine that. Hello. Manny, this Manny Pacquiao? Yes, this is Manny. Who am I speaking? Who's speaking? Manny, this is Floyd. This is Floyd Money Mayweather. TMT, hashtag TBE. I want to make you an offer for the fight that you've been looking for. I'm gonna offer you $40 million. I'm gonna wire you $20 million right now, and then $20 million right after the fight. You get no endorsements, no deals, no pay-per-view upside. but you're going to get an opportunity to fight me in the ring. TMT, TBE, Floyd Mayweather. Take it or leave it. I want 50-50. Click. Then, a couple days later, now it's overseas. Yeah, this shit goes. Hello. Is this Floyd? Yeah, who's this? This is Manny Pacquiao? Yes, this is Manny Pacquiao. We want to offer you $40 million, and we want you to stop Showtime, no Showtime. We want it on exclusively for HBO, and $50 million is yours. You can take the money, but you have to not put it on Showtime. We don't want to deal with no one but Bob Adam. And he told me to tell you that $50 million is yours because you say you want $50 million to fight me. So you're going to cut your contract with Showtime and you're going to fight me on HBO. What would you guys say? And then, Floyd would be like, I'm the inside this motherfucker. Who you calling? Man, this motherfucker. Who you calling? 50 million. You know what? I'm gonna make 300 million. You ain't got shit. 50 million. That's my training camp money. I'm gonna make exhibitions and make that kind of money. You can't offer me shit. I'm the A side. Listen, I'm the A side. Well, I thought you wanted the $50 million. Wilder versus Joyce or Ruiz far better to watch. Jamal, he would have a long night trying to punch, bro. Jamal. On the impressions, just a minor critique. Sometimes your Andy Ruiz blends in with your Oscar De La Hoya. No. Andy Ruiz is like, his shit drags. I thank God that I'm getting the opportunity to fight. De La Hoya is like kind of higher, kind of. Yeah, I think the fight is going to be a good fight. I think Floyd's very quick. Floyd's very slick, but I think it's going to be a good fight. So there's a little differences in there. One kind of drags, and De La Hoya just looked like he just took a rail of coke every time he says anything. Imagine that motherfucker on coke. Wilder trying to punch Usyk, Kurt, he will have a very long night trying to catch Usyk. But that's the whole point. Usyk wants to space you. He wants to pace you. He wants to box you. And then when you get upset, let's put it that way, and you're losing your cool and your patience, that's when he starts to turn it on. And I think that's what's but thing about Wilder gets madder when he misses. No, I can't do a Floyd Mayweather just senior. Floyd, I don't want to make fun of Floyd. He's kind of old, but maybe next time, guys. But no, I think that Usyk is going to fight Tyson Fury. I hope the negotiations go well so this narrative can be crushed. Okay, and I think at the end of the day, you can't call Oleksandr Usyk a duck because primarily he wanted to take on Tyson Fury anyway. So we'll see if that fight takes place. Thank you guys for coming on the day after. Thank everybody that came on and seen the live streams, because we had 3 last night, so we had a wonderful, fun-filled night of boxing last night. But God bless you all. I hope you all stay up, be careful, and everyone has been counterpunched. Peace!